Hello, my name is Shirley Polk Davis. It is such a privilege to come to you today. I'm coming to you today because I am so happy about an interview that I was blessed to get with Mother Dorothy Nell Dehorney Kelly. And it is so good. And I am so thankful to God for allowing me to do that. And I want to say again to Tangi and to Mother Kelly, thank you so much for opening up your home to me and allowing me to come in and ask the questions that I did. And I got some great information, and I really appreciate you for it. So, everybody, just sit back, relax, and enjoy this great interview with Mother Dorothy Nell Dehorney Kelly, who is a pioneer in her own rights. She is a living legend, and it is precious. Okay? So enjoy.
Precious Lord, take my hand, lead me on, just so let me stand. Lord, I'm tired, my body done got weak. Lord, I'm worn through the storm. Ooh, through the night. Lead me on, Lord, somewhere there's a brighter light. Yeah. Take my hand, precious Lord, and lead me on home. Now that's my favorite
Yes,
song.
ma'am.
That's the song that I started to sing when I first started to sing.
Yes, ma'am.
I sang Precious Lord.
How old was you when you started singing?
When I started singing,
Mm.
I was a little girl, 8, 10 years old.
Wow. Wow.
Everybody said, you can sing. I said, no, I can't. Yes, you can. No, I can't.
And you kept on singing, did you?
Somebody singing that was...
Wow, I'm glad you did. Wow.
Sure.
Because your family is a singing family anyway.
Yeah.
So did your dad sing?
I was trying to think, because I know my mama did.
I know, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
He
So where do you
died.
think you
Where I
singing
really
came?
got the singing was from on my mama's side of the people.
Yes, ma'am.
Because my uncles would sing. My mama and them would sing.
Hmm.
You know, like they all sung.
Yes, ma'am.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Really, the singing. On my daddy's side, they didn't sing and stuff like that very much.
Hmm.
They're more or less like business.
Oh, okay.
They was business people,
Yes,
you know,
ma'am.
like back in them days.
Well, was he mixed or was he white? Was he
He was mixed.
okay?
Yeah,
Okay.
they were mixed with, I would say, with Indian
Mhm.
and white.
Mhm.
You know, back in them days, you know, you get mixed up with
That's right.
Indians and white
Mhm.
people and all like that, you know, and all like that. Because if you saw my daddy, you would say he was a white man.
Yes, ma'am. Wow.
The way he, you know, his color.
Do you have
Because
any pictures of him?
no, I
No
don't. I
pictures
mean,
of.
no. I wish I had kept some money. I mean, I did have.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
don't know where I done. Maybe at home down there.
Oh,
Just
yes, ma'am.
but he was. They never. I mean, I don't care where we went. They never told him to. He go to the back seat with Mama and me and my brother and sister.
Mhm.
He said, "No, you have to sit up. You know how they were back then.
Yes, ma'am.
You have to sit up here." He said, "No, I'm black." They said, "No, you're not."
Wow. That's a switch, huh?
Yeah, and I'll never forget that. You know,
Wow.
And one of us would go sit in his lap. You know. Yep.
And he was George,
Huh?
and then your brother's George, and then there's George.
Mm-hmm.
The third is it George? Third, right?
Oh, if you go back
Or is
there,
it George?
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow.
But he could sit on the front seat.
They tell him you got to sit at
You
the
had to sit
front.
on the front seat. I'll never
Wow.
forget that. I was coming out of, I was coming out of California, and I got to the town way out there, and I was light skinned, with more than I am
Yes, ma'am.
back down now. So that black guy was driving on the bus, and I got on the bus, and I said, I have to go to the back because I'm black. He said, you gonna sit right there.
All right.
You too light to go to the back. I said, no, he's a black guy. Because I was coming to Bond so I could come to
Yes, ma'am.
And then he kept saying, you sit up here. Because you're not black. I said, I ain't totally black, but I'm black. Me and him, I said, I ain't totally black, but I'm black. But, I mean, the size I was,
Yes, ma'am.
you know, and back then, my hair hung on my shoulder.
Wow.
And I think he wanted to just look at me.
Oh, you know that.
I said, I think more or less he wanted me to come because my hair hung down.
Yes, ma'am.
And he talked all the way.
Wow.
Talked and he said, you say you're black. I said, I am. My people are dark people, and some are white, and some are whiter, and I'm like that. That's what I told him. He said, because I was a lot lighter, you know, my color was
Yes, ma'am.
is now, and whatever. But he said, no, I still say you can't sit on the back.
Wow.
And I told him to come to me and a little old lady. I'll never forget that little old lady. That he said, the little old lady, she gonna sit here, and you and her gonna sit together.
And she was white.
Huh?
She was white?
She was
Wow.
white. But me and her looked the same color.
Boy, you were
So that really was.
so she was lily white.
Yeah, I was white back and then. They said, my sister, you just thought she was nothing but a white. Because my sister was real white.
Wow.
Me and my brother and my sister was all, you know,
Yes, ma'am.
had never been, yes, but, yeah, he said, you can't sit back there. I said, yes, I can.
Wow.
You know, back then, they were having a black to sit on the seat.
Yes,
back
ma'am.
across, back in the back. And he was a black guy, too.
He said, no, you can't sit back there,
And
huh?
he said, you can't sit back. I said,
You want to look at that
yes,
pretty
I
lady?
can. I'm a black woman.
But you
He got like this, he said,
sit right
he
there.
said nothing else. I just went up and sit down.
Yes, ma'am.
I think
Wow.
he wanted to just talk to me, you know.
Yes, ma'am.
Because I was real light
Yes,
and
ma'am.
everything, you know, and I was a medium-sized woman.
Wow.
You know.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm old.
Wow, that's wonderful. Yes, ma'am. And where were you born?
White right?
White right?
White right, Texas.
Wow. Wow.
You know, my mother then was living there when me and my brother, my sister wasn't born there because
Oh,
my dad
yes.
died.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm a Dehorney.
Yes, ma'am.
Right.
That's what I want you to tell.
His name George
Oh,
Washington.
so Reverend Dehorney was a
You know, my brother was named Dehorney.
right. George.
He was named after
Your dad.
my daddy. Okay, my nephew is the same thing. They got after my daddy.
Oh, yes, ma'am. Wow. See? Wow. Okay, and you were born in White right. Wow. So, you give a name, you know, you told that, you told your maiden name. And what is your first and most vivid memory? What do you remember about your childhood? Something that's very vivid or something that's really important to you, something that went on in your childhood.
In my childhood.
Yes, ma'am.
I would start out with the first thing is that my sister was named Washington Dehorney.
Yes, ma'am.
My name is Dorothy Dehorney.
Okay.
My brother's name was George Washington Dehorney. My mom had 3 children and my daddy passed away.
Okay.
He lived in Whitewright, Texas.
Okay.
You know. And then we moved back to Ravenna, Texas.
Okay.
Stayed with my grandmother.
I'm gonna get over here so you can.
And my grandmother was named Alice White.
Alice White. That's where the white comes in.
That's where the white comes.
That's where the white comes
My
in.
grandfather was named Morris White. My grandmother was named Alice White.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Moved back with them when my dad passed, but my mother moved back because she had to work.
Where did she move back to?
Ravenna, from White Rock to back to Ravenna, Texas.
That's where Ravenna comes in.
Mhm.
All right. See, wow, this is super. I won't talk too much, but I get excited. I get excited. Wow. So, and your most vivid memory, what is something that was really, that stands out from your childhood that you really
What about your daddy on the bus?
And my daddy on the bus.
Okay.
My daddy could ride on the front seat.
Okay.
And my mother had to ride in the back seat with me and my brother. But my sister was light colored like my daddy. He could hold her in the front seat on the bus when you couldn't ride on the bus, way back down, you had to sit in the back seat.
So did they think that they were white or what?
Yeah. They really thought that, and if you saw him, you would have thought the same thing.
My
You would
goodness.
have said, he's married to, my mother was something like your skin.
Yes, ma'am.
And then he was like, just like a white man.
Wow.
So
he got to sit on the front.
on the front.
And then that's Rosie's mama, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right, yeah.
Hogan, yeah.
Yeah, Miss Hogan. So, and she could sit there with him
My sister,
on the first seat.
cause she was light skinned. Me and my brother was twixt in between color.
Yes, ma'am. So they had you to
So we
sit.
sit in the back seat with my mama.
Wow.
And really, if they went up there and said it, cause my sister would cry all the time.
Wow.
And then if my brother, would go up there, he had to hold us in his lap. That was where we were going. He had to. They really didn't believe that, that was our daddy, actually, because he was so much lighter than my mother.
But they had to honor it
But
because
they
he
honored
said
it
so.
Because he said.
Wow.
And yet they still told him he had to sit on the front seat. She sat in the back seat. So she told me it don't matter. Where we going? Just as soon as we get there. But she didn't fuss about it, or nothing like
Wow,
that.
she was wise, wasn't she? Wow.
My mother was very wise
Wow.
when it comes to things, that
Yes, ma'am.
she thought would really mess up life,
Wow.
stuff like that and whatever.
So that's where you got all that calmness and all that from.
Yeah. So,
I think, right? Every time I see you, you're just so calm and cool and all of that.
she got married to my daddy,
Yes, ma'am.
and they moved to White Rock.
Okay. And then when he died, she went
back
to
to
Ravenna.
Ravenna.
Wow. And what was her name?
Azel, Azeal,
Miss
Azel.
Miss Thompson. Excuse me.
Thompson, that was on my-
Yes, right. Now it's coming back to me. I've been a little off this week, so.
That's all right.
Yeah.
Azel, her name was Azeal.
Yes, ma'am. As well
Amen.
as I know, y'all know I know her very well.
You should know Mama. Now, Mama knows everybody.
Yes,
Talk to
ma'am.
everybody.
Yes, ma'am. And she went as a preacher too, didn't she?
Yeah.
And I mean, she was a preacher a long ways back there.
She could teach too.
Yes, ma'am.
My mama could teach.
Yes, ma'am.
She taught us from front to back.
Wow. And we can tell too.
Uh-huh.
It's all through the family.
Yeah, she could.
Yeah.
She could teach.
Yes, ma'am.
And she sat down and started teaching. She said, "Bible lay here." I'm gonna say what I'm gonna say. And she got a teaching.
Wow.
She tell you the Lord is my shepherd. Yeah, that's what she meant.
Mm-hmm.
I shall not want. He's making me to lie down in green pastures. He's leading me beside the still water.
Mm-hmm.
He was still, all them, she knew all how to say all of them, and she would teach us, and actually, my sister was kind of a baby-like,
Mm-hmm.
because, my mama passed away before she was born. When my daddy passed away before she was born, and then, crime was in my sister, more or less.
Mm-hmm.
And she know, she know because she was taught.
Yes, ma'am.
But she tried
Wow.
and whatever. But
Wow.
back then, they would go back in the Old Testament. But they made sure that we know.
Yes, ma'am.
They teach us what the Bible said.
You have that background
And
too.
it said, "The Lord is my shepherd; I shall not want. He's making me to lie down in green pastures. He leading me beside the still water. He restores my soul, leading me in the path of righteousness for His name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley and the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. Thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they cover me. Thou prepared the table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou anoint my head with oil, my cup, my surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life. And I will dwell.
Yeah.
You know the rest.
Yeah.
In the
Ooh.
house of the Lord. I'm going there forever.
Oh, yes,
I ain't
ma'am.
going to no other place, y'all.
Oh, yes.
But with the Lord. Tell your mom. I'm
My.
going with the Lord forever. I ain't going down yonder.
Yes.
I ain't going down yonder.
I know that's
Then
right.
I'm gonna come back. I'm going with him. I want to go with him from here.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I tell you, whoo, that is wonderful. Thank you, thank you. Now, were you, when you were born and when you were growing up, did you live in a house? Did you live in an apartment? In it, you know, what kind of a home did you live in?
I lived in a regular house like this. My grandmother and them had a farm,
Yes, ma'am.
and they had. My grandmother and them had a house
Mm-hmm.
on there, but they had land. They had bought that land down there at Ravenna and everything, and then it was so that her kids, it was big enough that some built a house down here, some built a house over there, and some built that, like that, you know, back yonder. They did.
Everybody had their
Everybody
own
had their own
home. See,
and that's you know, nowadays kids doesn't do that. But back then, you listen to what the old folks said. I'm gonna put your house over here. I'm gonna put yours down yonder. I'm gonna put yours. That's the way they were, you know.
Yes, ma'am. Wow.
My grandmother.
So y'all had family acreage, and everybody lived on that acreage. Wow, and had their own food, everything. Had it good.
And they planted like their corn, the cotton, all the garden was great big. Oh Lord, don't put it. They had a cellar, and I was the oldest girl, and my sister was the baby girl, and my brother.
Yes, ma'am.
But I had to have my grandmother canned fruit
Ah, yeah.
to put in that cellar, and she would not put under 100 cans.
Wow.
Fruit jars.
Jars.
Like that.
The big jar.
The fruit jars.
Yes, ma'am.
The
The
some
big.
like this, and
Yes,
some
ma'am.
bigger, and then some a little bit bigger like
They wouldn't put
that.
less than 100 in their season, or what? It.
In the wintertime.
Yes, ma'am.
Cause she had shelves in there.
Yes, ma'am.
If it come a storm, we had to
Go in there. Yes, ma'am. And then.
And I tell you, when they had a storm, we go in the cellar and shut the door and hold it.
Yes. Wow. And so, like the beets and things, did she can the beets, or did y'all just lay the beets up in there?
Some of them she laid and some of them she canned.
Yes, ma'am. So you didn't have to worry about any food.
So in the wintertime, we don't have to worry about it, you know, no food back then.
Didn't have to
They
go
had big gardens.
Yes, ma'am.
They had big gardens, you know.
And you had to help.
Pick that garden. I did more or less. My sister, she
Yes, ma'am.
left because she didn't want to do nothing.
So she was spoiled, huh?
Yeah, and I really think it's because my daddy passed away before she was born, and my mother cried.
Oh.
And she said that she think that's the reason why she cried all the time,
yes, ma'am.
because she lost my daddy, and before she was born.
Okay,
She
she was
never-
carrying her when he.
Uh-huh.
Oh, and you know that is there is
Okay.
some truth to that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Your emotions and everything that you when you're carrying your baby, those things do come out, don't
And
they?
did you not know that my sister, before she passed away, if you got sick, she'd come lay hands on you and you don't have to go to the doctor.
My.
And the doctor said it because she never saw her daddy.
Really?
Ain't that funny?
Wow.
My sister never saw her.
But she could really lay
But she could
hands
lay
and you'd be
hands on-
healed. And there was some truth to it. Evidently, it had to be something to it, didn't it?
Yeah.
We take the babies to them, blow in them out.
All
They're
of
from
that.
thrash.
Yeah.
All of that stuff. Had
Mhm.
on their tongue and thrash and all that, the food and this, the that, and all that stuff.
And they'd be healed, wouldn't they?
Sure would be healed. It's
Mhm.
not no going to much doctor like
Right,
now, too,
like
man.
now.
No, it's,
Wow. Wow. I'm not going to get. I'm trying to keep myself calm. and you already described the neighborhood you grew up in. You told me about your parents. And who was the strictest?
Huh?
Who was the strictest, your mother or your father? Who was the strictest one on you?
Strictest one in my family.
You like your mom or dad?
Like my mom and my dad. My mother was more stricter than my daddy was, because he would kind of give in a little bit, you know, and whatever. But if she said, that's it.
No. That's it.
That's it.
I know how that is.
Daddy might kind of remember some of it.
So, wait a minute.
Back in them days.
I want to
Shut
ask
up, crying.
Shut up. And you shut up too, huh?
You better shut up. You hear me? You better shut it up. It's over, because I'm going to get that paddle.
Yes. Oh,
And
my.
them paddles.
They use the paddle.
Yeah.
Oh, my.
And you didn't want no paddle. Neither did you want that, you know, them bloom weeds go out and past and pull. You didn't want that switch because it'll cut your leg.
Oh, my Lord. So now, talking about the paddle and the switch, can you remember something that you got in trouble for that you've never forgotten? Did you ever do anything to get in trouble?
Lightly I didn't. I mean, I didn't much.
Okay, but whenever you got in
A
trouble.
fight with Major Ball.
Well,
I used to fight Major Ball.
who is that?
That was in bottom of school.
Okay.
In Ravenna, after Ravenna got to the 8th grade, after the 8th grade, we had to go to Bonham School. Catch the bus
Okay.
and go to Bonham School. And she told my Major about me and her fought.
Was that like one of your rivals, you know, fighting
Well,
periodically?
actually, you know, some people is like this. I think you dressed cute today because you got on the black, and then you got the black and the orange, and whatever, and then the little flowers are showing. Okay. Well, and my mother knew how to sew. My grandmother knew how to sew. They all knew how to make clothes, you know, stuff like that. They was taught. My grandma had one of the machines that ding, 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 ding,
Oh, yeah.
old time machine and stuff like that. So they would make our clothes. And then Mama worked for a lady up in Ravenna, a white lady that had 2 girls, the same as me and my sister. And she would go buy her kids, the 2 girls' clothes for school and all like that. She let them wear one time. That's all they could wear. If I put on this, or you got yours, you wear it one time. You couldn't wear it no more because she folded up and put it in the bag, and fold it up, put it in the bag, and then her girls was like me and my sister. We were all the same size. And she would go to Bonham and buy the clothes, and then she come back. She just a little more, and then she'd give them to Mama for us. There wasn't I tell everybody I never wore out clothes. I didn't know what wore out clothes was because of the lady that my mother worked for up there in Ravenna, Miss Henley, had 2 girls just the same as me and my sister.
Wow.
And she'd go buy them clothes, and she'd only let them wear them one time, and she'd put them on a sack. Come out and say, Lord, Mama. And you couldn't say that ain't nothing.
Right.
Because she would let them wear them out and then give them to us, you know, something like that. She let them wear them.
One time.
And I told them, I said, when I come up, I never wore raggedy clothes. Because my work with this lady that had 2 girls. And her name, I'll never forget, her name was Miss Henley. They had a farm. And we would go pick cotton, shop cotton, all that out there on their farm. They wouldn't miss paying us. You think, well, they give you this, they give you that, you know, then they wouldn't do it. They'd pay us for picking the cotton, chopping the cotton, all like that. And then she'd sack him. I tell everybody, I never went ragged in my life.
Wow, you don't know what it is,
I
do
don't
you?
know what it is to go ragged. Because God bless, you know, Mama worked for that lady.
And so is that where what's her name? Major? What's the lady? Is that what she came in? What did she do? Tease you because she was jealous of you or something?
Oh, yeah. And, you know, I didn't want to fight and all that kind of
So
stuff.
she could probably try to tear your clothes up and stuff like that.
Definitely.
Oh, yeah.
And what makes
I know
it
people like
so
that.
bad, it's just like me and Tangy. Yeah. I had a cousin named Eddie Mae.
Mm-hmm.
She lived in Barnum.
Mm-hmm.
And she went to school. We went to school at the same school down there. And so May Jo wouldn't bother me until Eddie Mae wasn't there the day. But she had to forget Eddie Mae was coming to school the next day. And if she said that she messed with me, did you not know she would jump on that girl and whoop her?
Wow.
And finally she got, let me tell you one time. She told her, I'll never forget it. She said, let me tell you one thing. That's my cousin, first cousin. She got a mama, but she don't have no daddy. My mama helps take care of them too. And she is just like my sister. I dare you to ever touch her again. Did you not know she never bothered me no more? She said I come to school dressed up and thought I was something. You know, I can look at you now and I think it's pretty you got on. Okay, why would I get mad? Because that's your dress and you bought it.
Right.
Why would somebody want to get mad? If you go out and pick cotton and buy you one.
But
Everything that we got when we come through back then was picking cotton and chopping cotton, shedding corn and all that kind of stuff. I know you come along with me. All that pulling corn off that stalk. Then shook
I
it.
know what you're talking about.
And then all that fruit you got to can and put in the cellar for the
I
winter.
know it.
That's the way we live back
I
there.
know you about your clothes. I know.
Yes, sir.
and you wonder why people are like that,
I
don't
don't
you?
understand
It just doesn't make sense.
If I see you and I think that you got on there is pretty.
But thank you, man.
What I want to say that
Don't look at my shoes.
I ain't worried about them shoes. Them shoes all right too.
On the flats I have that are comfortable.
Yeah,
They do.
yeah. Okay, if you know how to dress, this your mama. Is that your mama?
My friend.
Okay. Okay. She got on black skirt and you got on black skirt, but you don't have on the same blouse.
Right.
People don't understand that.
That's true.
You dress like you want to.
That is so true.
And I said, why people want to say, I tell you, look cute. You look so cute in that, you know.
It just doesn't make sense, does
But
it?
it doesn't really make no sense with me.
My voice is trying to leave me.
That's still
Okay. I know your parents had a good marriage. I don't even have to ask that question.
They did actually.
You already told me about your brothers and sisters. And you told me about your childhood. And I know you ate well. I don't even have to worry about that.
Yeah.
And for fun, was there any particular thing you liked to do that really was really fun for you?
For me,
Yes, ma'am.
really when we were coming up, you know, at the Christmas time, they bought your dolls and all that kind of stuff. And me and my sister would always sit down and we play baby with our dolls. This is my baby. You better not touch my baby now. It's my baby. Put it in my arm and hold him. And I could sew. I'd make the doll. If I made a dress like you got on or your mom got on there, I'd make the one for my doll too. Something like that. And whatever. It's really childhood to us, you know, in those days was something. I really say it was something. Now we had to chop cotton, we had to pick cotton and all this kind of stuff, but it never bothered us because that's the life that we lived back then. Chicken corn, all that kind of stuff, and then they had cellars. You dig the cellar so deep. If it come a storm, you're going in the cellar.
So how many feet would you say? 8 feet, 10 feet? Probably something like that. Cause
You go down that step in that cellar. And whatever. Okay, then Grandma would can fruit
yes, ma'am.
and put the fruit on the shelves. And when it
They be all like,
on shelves like that. Cross, cross, like that.
and there's a storm cellar and
It was a storm cellar and then it kept the fruit.
my.
And it's so strange back then that you canned that fruit and put it in there in the cellar and it's cool down there.
Sure
And it
is.
never spoil. You can set something in there on that cabinet and the next day or two it don't spoil.
Yes, ma'am.
But see, back in those days, they put them in the cellar.
And they sure didn't spoil, did they? Because of I know that I'm not going to go into this stuff. Yes, ma'am. It's that natural air conditioning and cooling and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, this is great. This is great. Now, your favorite. You told me about your doll, so that had to be probably your favorite, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Your doll. Okay. And were there any games that you played back then that we might not know about, or are they basically the same? You know, like skipping rope and all that. And
Yeah, did all that jump rope. You drawed your thing on the ground, you know, like.
oh, hopscotch.
Hopscotch, jump.
Yes, ma'am.
All that kind of stuff. Kids don't do that now, but back then we did.
Well, as a young lady, and did you ever climb trees and things
Lord,
like that?
yes.
You like climbing?
Grandma and them had pecan trees and all that, china tree, all them trees, you know, china trees and all like that. And you ever get up in a tree and sit up in there, Grandma, come down, you gonna fall. No, Grandma, we ain't. You can go up that tree. And it's so funny that we could climb that tree too, it wouldn't bother us.
Mm-hmm.
Get up in the tree and sit on the limb.
And just sit up there, just like it was nothing. Yes, ma'am.
That was so funny. I think about it now. That was so funny. We get set up in the tree.
Wow.
Grandma said, come down, you're gonna fall.
Do you ever miss those days?
I do. I really now. Because I always got, my grandmother lived in Ravenna. And some of folks lived in Barnum.
Yes, ma'am.
So I used to get to go down there,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and then down to Ravenna.
Those were the fun days, weren't they?
And I was born in White right then.
Yes, ma'am.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. I never knew about the white.
My sister wasn't born in White right. Me and my brother were born in White right, but my daddy passed away. But my sister was born, and she was born at Ravenna.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, ma'am. So, you already told me about the responsibilities because you'd have bring in the crops, you'd have do the canning and different things like that and help around the house. Now, your school, you told about your friend. Well, I don't think she was a friend at the time.
She was a friend at that time.
Right. But the school that you went to school in
Ravenna.
In Ravenna, yes,
That's
ma'am.
to 8th grade.
To 8th grade. Oh, yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
And were you a good
Then
student?
on, we had to go to Barnum.
You were a good student,
To the 12th.
I'm sure. Oh, and then you went to Bonham from the 9th through the 12th. Yes, ma'am.
We had to go to Barnum.
Okay.
Some things we had to take over, like in the 8th grade, some things,
Yes, ma'am.
because country school was a little different from the Barnum. Barnum school was total out, you know.
Which one you like best?
Uh,
Which school you like, Bonham or Ravenna? Which one?
really, I like both of them,
Mm-hmm.
but I was kind of, the teacher, I didn't much care for the teachers in Ravenna,
Mm-hmm.
in Spartan, because you couldn't say, bing. You see that little switch about this long?
And they hit you.
Be quiet, sit down. They were more like, you know, do whatever they said you're supposed to do.
Right.
You know, no talking, no this, no that. Back down, that's the country school. And it was different in the Barnum school.
Yes,
know,
ma'am.
Because
Because there is a difference, though, even now, because, like, back then, you know, you do what I say, you don't ask questions, you sit here, or you do whatever I told you to do. Do what I told you to do, and that's it. And, you know, we didn't ask questions or anything like that. So in your summer, well, that's when they were doing what they harvested in the fall, right?
Yeah.
And they planted in the spring. Yes, ma'am. And so in the summer, you went back and forth, like you said, you go visit down in what, Bonham? Or?
In Ravenna, Barnum, and all like that. We could come to Denison too.
Yes, ma'am.
And whatever.
So who was in Dennis at the time when you were young?
Back then we had kinfolk that lived in Denison, like cousins.
Yes, ma'am.
And all like that. In Barnum, you know, the same way.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah,
Wow,
all cousins. They scattered out. They still scattered out, you know.
Yes,
like
ma'am.
some live here and some live there, and whatever.
So y'all had a great childhood. I'm not going to spend a whole lot more time because I don't want to, you know. But let me see. You celebrated Christmas, New Year's, and did you travel like on the holidays or sometimes on the Christmas? Did y'all go different places, or did you just mostly stay at home? Yes, ma'am. And so let me see. What was your lifelong dream when you were young and you said,
I'm gonna be. What did you want to be when you got grown?
When I got grown, actually, what I wanted to be, I wanted to be a good wife.
Mm-hmm.
Raise
Check.
raise my kids.
Check.
And make all of them go to school.
Okay, check. I believe that's a check too, huh?
Finish school.
Mm-hmm.
Stuff like that, you know. I didn't want them dropping out, you know,
Right.
and all that kind of stuff. And, no. Go
No.
to school and so you can learn, whatever, you know, like that.
And they
Well, I had
did,
8
didn't
boys and 1 girl, and they had to go.
So
to
it's
school.
9.
I had 9
Yes,
kids.
ma'am.
The oldest boys passed away now. But
Wait a minute. You said 8 boy. So
I had a whole bunch of
so
kids.
Pokey's the only girl.
Only girl.
What?
Can you believe that? Ted's mother's the only girl.
Wow.
And she's the second child.
Yes, ma'am.
My oldest son was named James Edward Kelly.
Mm-hmm.
He was the oldest. And then her Tandy's sister, Frances. And I mean, your mama.
Yes, ma'am.
Tandy.
Frances,
Tandy's mother's
yeah.
Frances.
So she's the second oldest.
She's the
Oh
second
wow.
oldest,
Like I'm the second oldest too.
We call her Pokey.
Pokey. Yes, ma'am. I should have said. Maybe I should have said Francis. But anyway. Yes, ma'am. Okay, I'm going to do just a few more, but this is so good, and I want to say I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. And there's some different things coming up. Is there anything that came along, any kind of invention or something that just awed you, or something that was invented when you came up that made a big difference in your life, or something that you took note of? I know you already had the radio and the television and all that, right? So was there anything else that came along during your childhood?
Actually, for me, I went to school to learn how to cook
Okay.
and keep a house.
Wow.
That's what I wanted to do. And actually, when I left Ravenna and went to Baltimore,
Yes, ma'am.
that's what I wanted to do.
And so, and you accomplished all that too, didn't you? Wow. And then your teacher, all your teachers were of our persuasion, right?
Yeah.
So, well, it was just a norm then, though, right? In the school, what was it? Was it one room, more than one room? Was everybody in the same room?
Okay,
The
when
grades?
we was in Ravenna, it was we were all in the same room.
Yes, ma'am.
You know, you went from Prima on up, but we all were in the same room.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
didn't get the lady this far. But in Ravenna, but when we went to Bonham, when we got to the 8th grade, you have to leave Ravenna and go to Bonham school.
And so they separated the
They
grades.
separated. Up there, they had a big school in Bonham, separated.
Did you enjoyed your childhood, didn't you? That's wonderful. That's
Sure did.
wonderful.
I really enjoyed it.
Wow.
And my main object was I wanted to know how to keep a house, and I wanted to know how to cook. It's the 2 things that I went to school for.
Wow.
And why are you going to school for that? Because I could learn it at home because my grandmother was a cook. Them old folks back like her, this your mama. Okay. They cook at Christmas time, Thanksgiving time. That's all them cakes, and they stood up this high.
Ooh-wee.
All them peach cobbers and panties long and all. You know, we don't do that now. Actually, we
Go out and buy the
do that
slams.
now.
Very seldom do you.
I mean, at Christmas time, sometimes I said, I'm gonna make a peach cobbler. I'm gonna make a German chocolate cake. I'm gonna make a this and whatever cakes and stuff, all like that. You know, more or less.
So you do all that from scratch?
Yeah, you do it from scratch.
Yes, ma'am. Wow.
When I went to school in Bonham, I wanted to learn. Now, my grandmother and my mother was good cooks. You can beat my grandmother.
Yes, ma'am. Wow.
You can beat her canning fruit. She can all the fruit she can get and put in the cellar. Y'all take that can and put them in the, they have a cellar, you know.
Yes, ma'am.
Put them on the shelves.
Yes, ma'am.
And it's not like now that we have to go to the store and buy everything.
Yes, ma'am.
Back in them days, they had their own garden. And the fruit that
Yes, ma'am.
would come out of the garden was good.
Yes, ma'am.
It
All that good, wholesome food.
yeah,
And you didn't get sick and all that back then, like so many people do. I'm just going to do just a few more Is there anything that you feel like you didn't do that you wanted to do? I know you said the main thing you wanted to do was learn to take care of your family and be able to cook. And was there anything else that you feel like you might have wanted to do that you didn't do? Or do you feel like you've accomplished everything that you would like to do up to now?
I accomplished everything, but I always loved singing.
Singing?
Singing.
You can do that.
I always wanted to, coming up as a little girl, I wanted to sing.
Yes, ma'am.
That's my biggest thing, was wanting to sing.
Well, do you feel like, when I close out, do you feel like singing a song? Yes, ma'am. So I'm going to do just a few more questions, and that's it, because I don't want to, take up too much of your time and tire you out. There was one thing in here that I saw. There's another. What do you think are your 3 best qualities? What are your 3 best qualities?
That's my 3 best qualities, Tanya. 3 best qualities is what?
Helping people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like to do that.
Wait a minute.
Talking about the Lord, teaching us about the Lord.
Okay.
Have a strong Christian.
Mm-hmm.
And a wonderful cook.
All right. So
That's
you all over fulfilled, huh? That's wonderful. Is there anything that if you could undo anything that's going on in your life, is there anything that you would undo?
Okay, you say now or what?
Now, in your life, you look back and something is going on in your life, is there anything that you would change if you could?
What would it be, Tanya?
Ma'am?
I thought I changed it. What would it be if I could say?
Anything you could change.
Great grandpa
Yeah, bring the husband back.
Yeah.
Because he was a good man. Good,
Yes, ma'am.
Extra good.
Yes, ma'am. And so y'all were married how many years?
68.
68 years.
Before he passed
Wow.
away.
Wow. That's amazing. I'm not going to put it on camera, but I'll say it later about me.
Yeah, it's
And you've seen how many presidents now?
Hmm.
How many presidents have you? Who was the president when you were that you first
I
remember?
can't think of his name.
What year was it? 28.
28.
1928.
So you've seen a number of presidents.
Oh, Lord, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Back from then on up.
Mm-hmm.
Got to see our first black president.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Mm-hmm.
And voted for?
Yeah.
Gosh, see, you have so much in you, and I might have to come and do a second part, but I'm not going to, just go a long time today. But I think that's good for today. But if you will, would you just sing us a song, please, ma'am? Whatever you want to sing, and we'll go out with this one. And I'm going to take this and edit it and all of that, and you're going to be really happy with it.
I've been practicing all day. I'm going to have to sing Sunday.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, I'm going to church at. Why should I feel just 'cause? Why should the shadows come? And why should my heart feel lonely and long for heaven and home?
Yes.
When Jesus is my portion and a constant friend is He, His eye is on that sparrow, and I know He watches over me. So I sing because I'm happy. And I sing because I'm free. Ooh, God's our church is on that sparrow. And I know He watches over me.
You ready?
Oh, I've been
Thank
saying
you.
that today because instead they calling me to sing, I like that song
Yes, ma'am.
because it's something to it when you look at it.
Yes, ma'am.
Why should I feel this courage?
Whew.
Why should I feel this? Why should the shadows come? You asked them a question in that song. Why all of these things? And you don't have to worry with that. Go on and do what you're supposed to do from day to day.
And let God handle the rest. Wow. I'm going to. Wow.